Hello, everyone. It's an immense pleasure for me to introduce you to our IPMAT student of 2024, Bhavishya Jain. And Bhavishya is here to share his experiences, learning journey, prep journey, and all of that, so that you all can learn from his experience. And he will introduce himself first so that you have an idea of who he was. Currently, he is pursuing his integrated management program at the prestigious IIM Rohtak Institute. He is going to share with you what he feels currently, his experiences, his prep journey, everything, right? So over to you, Bhavishya. Could you start with an introduction?
Firstly, thank you so much for having me, ma'am.
Immense pleasure.
So I'll speak out my background first. I'm a resident of Villaparle, Mumbai. I did my 10th standard from Liyajbhai Padar High School from ICSE board, where I secured a 96.8%. I did my 12th from the HSC board at Narsi Munshi College of Commerce and Economics. In my HSC, I scored 95.6%.
So, when did you decide that you want to pursue management, and when did it all start?
So initially, before COVID, I was very passionate about pursuing something in science. But then due to COVID, I sort of stopped, those learning process stopped a lot.
Okay.
So, and then when 10th standard, it was offline school, 10th standard, you're meeting your friends, you're hanging around with them all day. So I really stopped studying that much. So I never really got into the depth of science. And then when I eventually started exploring my options, I realized that when I learned about businesses, how they work, I enjoyed that more. And then I happened to come across an advertisement from Career Launcher only on Instagram about the program, and it fascinated me because I had heard a lot about IIMs. So that's how I decided that this could be something for me.
It's very interesting that he mentions that the pandemic actually gave him an opportunity to decide that management is something that he's excited about. Any background in the family or anything like that which motivated you as well?
So I come from a Marwadi business family. So at dinner table also there were always discussions about business, about handling money, about investing money, about this is the problem we're facing in business right now. How do we expand? This employee left, that employee left. So there were always discussions around that, and I was always, even though I was somewhat interested in science as a child, but all these discussions also fascinated me a lot.
Yeah, you were acquainted. It's not, with these terms. You were not unfamiliar to the business world. And anything else you thought was interesting? Like you thought about a specialization, or you were like a student, you were not sure about where you want to go? Was there a particular domain that interested you in business?
So initially, like during COVID, if you remember when the markets were very down, then I started reading the news and everything, and I was all over the news that when the country started opening up again after COVID, the markets were at an all-time high. So that fascinated me a lot, and then I eventually started reading a lot about the markets and why the markets are really going up and everything. So initially started around about reading around about what's happening in the markets, why the stocks are shooting suddenly, why so much, how is so much capital coming in, why are people investing in India, and then through that I started getting acquainted with businesses, the industry that are working in India right now, and that's how I developed an interest in business and management.
Again, I would say that this is very insightful, because at a time where everybody was perhaps going through difficult, turbulent times, personally, financially, emotionally, you utilized that time as a student to sort of not only understand what you're passionate about, but also your knowledge on financial markets expanded. And I think that's a very interesting way of utilizing time, which is why I thought students must, and parents or whoever is watching this, must understand that whenever you have that opportunity, upskill yourself. You never know, you might find that to be your career opportunity. So I would say it was not a very conscious,
Yeah, 100%.
right from childhood type of a decision, but something that happened by chance. But you were acquainted with the domain.
I think 100%. You have to be open to your options, because we are at a very young age. It is very difficult, or it is very, don't like to use the word, it's very foolish to commit to anything at a very young age. You need to explore your options, because you do not, how will you know you do not like something without trying it?
Great.
So explore everything you can, try to learn about things, try to understand them. You will never know until you try what fascinates you.
Yes, amazing. So Bhavishya, I mean, now that you're a part of the integrated management program in the IIMs, which that clan is a very different clan. So could you just share what are your feelings, experiences, everything about this
So,
whole environment that you're in now?
so everyone in India, IIM is a very big thing. You've always heard of people going to an IIM and doing very well in life. They're pursuing startups, businesses, and everything. So initially, when I got in, it was obviously a very big moment. You start feeling proud of yourself. I'm in an IIM. But then when you actually go and you're there, it's a very humbling experience because right now the people you're competing with were obviously they were also very good, but you were getting your validation, you were getting appreciation for who you are. But then everyone around you is very smart. Everyone knows their way around things. So it is a very humbling experience. You understand that, oh shit, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot that I do not know, and there's a lot more self work or self growth that's required.
Okay, so you're saying that yes, there's a very competitive and competent crowd that you have, and it's quite challenging to sort of live up to that
Yeah,
expectation, right?
100%,
So
100%.
what's your feeling? I mean, how do you feel? I mean, are you enjoying the prep? Is it rigorous? How do you manage this program? You know, the work-life balance, something like that.
So
Yeah,
initially, it's very overwhelming for you because you've always been appreciated by your family. Oh my God, he content. I am this. He's very smart. He's this. He's that from your friends.
that's right.
Because you are living in Mumbai, it's a very glamorous life here. So all your friends are partying and everything. Then when they look at you, they're like, he's very dedicated, he's very focused. But then when you're there, you see that, oh shit, I'm nothing. A lot of people around here who are way better at things. So initially, it's very overwhelming for you. But then you need to understand that, okay, it's actually a virtue that you're not the smartest in the room. You have so much to learn from these people. And then eventually, when you start working on things that you also realize that, okay, this is the thing that I have to offer to them, and this is the thing that they are offering to me. So initially, it's an exchange. There's a lot of peer-to-peer learning. And one thing that's changed drastically in the last 6 months, I feel, is the learning experience. I don't think that I've learned that much in my 18 years of life as much I've learned in the last 6 months.
Oh, great. So in terms of academics or an overall persona, I mean, holistic development.
I would say holistic development because even though we're exploring a lot of subjects which are from humanities, from science, from the commerce background, and you're not just learning it theoretically, you're also seeing the practical application of it. So you're able to connect it very well to how things actually work in the real life as well.
So now from the real to the real world, that is what you're saying. So it's good that you're sharing this with us because people who aspire to go to the IIMs must also understand that once you're in, you have to adapt, right, and learn and make changes in the way you function. Okay, could you tell us a little bit about how you manage the rigor? So when you're a part of such a prestigious IIM institute, you always have to balance your time, your stress, you know, and live up to that expectation that outsiders have with you as well. So because you're a part of IIM, how do you manage this?
So I feel the problem with a lot of students is even right now, even when you're in 11th or 12th, you have to control things a lot. No, no, I will do this at this time. You're very committed and you're very strict to that. But one thing you realize when you're there is you have to be very flexible with your time
Okay.
because there are a lot of things and deadlines just come up. Like, okay, like there were a number of times we had to present. We were informed today and we have to present tomorrow.
Whoa,
So
okay.
you have to be very flexible and you have to keep a very open mind. You can't be very rigid on things, on your ideas. And one thing is because if you're sitting with people so smart, everyone there has a very creative mind. Someone is very good with technical stuff. So you need to be very open to their ideas. You need to realize that he might be smart. You need to take others' viewpoints also.
So being able to do things, you know, the last minute prep and, you know, being able to collaborate with different minds, you know, different types of talent is very important. You're saying that's
100%.
changed. You also mentioned about the way you learn has changed. So these are some very valuable insights coming straight from Bhavishya, who is a part of the program himself. So Bhavishya, coming back to, you know, something like an IPMAT exam, right? A lot of people feel that it's very challenging because we have, you know, less time, we have boards, we have so many things going on at the same time when the exam prep has to be done. Do you think you could share with us a few things about what the future aspirants could do to be able to manage this stressful sort of a timetable that they have. So a lot of them freak out because they feel, how do I prepare for my boards? I can't allow my board prep to be, compromised. At the same time, I want to make sure I ace this exam. So are there any tips that you would like to prepare, do's, prepare them for?
So one thing, as I mentioned, you can't be very rigid. You have to be very flexible. So even like during my boards prep, I knew I had to focus. I had to score well in boards, but I also knew that I had to ace IPMAT exam. So I realized that okay, I cannot do maths now. So I was in touch with Aparna ma'am. She used to give me vocab words. So even during my boards time, I started doing those vocab words in my free time because that's take for 20-30 minutes, and which I was wasting on other stuff anyways.
Okay.
So what boards are also very important. They play a very important role in your admission into college post 12th. But in whatever time you are getting, try to do things that comes naturally to you, that you think that it won't be that much of an effort, and I'll be able to do that also. So vocabulary, I know that even if I do vocabulary, it will not affect my other studies. It will not be too much for me to take in. So you can pursue that. And even though there's less time, focus more on the quality than the quantity. Even if you just have 2 months or 1 month after board exam, understand what you are good at and what you can master. So try to do that more, get good at that, so that when a question comes from that chapter or that part of the test, you do not mess up that. And other areas also try to have a decent knowledge about the practical or the practical, which are the common questions that have come in the previous year papers, the basic formulas and everything. So that even though you've not practiced that or you've not mastered that, in the paper, if there's an easy question, you should not miss out on that.
Right, great. So would you recommend students to study well in advance? What should they, what do you feel? Should they be, balancing it out? Like you joined pretty early and you were able to balance everything. Would you advise them to start prep a little before in areas where they are not very adept?
100%. It's always better to start early, so that because it is a very difficult exam to crack, because you just give your boards and you have only a month or two to prepare before you appear for the exam, and then there's interview also. So it's a very complicated process. So if you start early, you obviously will have an edge. And when you start early, the main advantage you will have is you will know your strengths and weaknesses before in those 2 months. So you know where you have to focus more and where you have to focus less.
Great. So do you believe that marks are very important? Analyzing and giving marks are very important for kids?
100% marks are very important because you are just preparing. You do not know where you actually stand. But then again, one thing I would say is that no one knows how the exam day will be. So when you do not score well in a mock exam, do not feel underconfident, because you have plenty of time. Even if you do not have the time, you do not know how that day will unfold, and you have prepared. That might not have been, you might not have been able to apply that in the mock, but it's not true that you will not be able to apply that in the exam also. So don't lose faith or don't lose belief in yourself before the exam actually happens.
Right. Now, students and parents, this is a very, very pertinent aspect about being confident when you're preparing and on the D-Day, which I think has contributed to his success immensely. That's the psychological bit, which is very important, that you motivate yourself to do. What other factors do you think played a role in your success?
So one thing, again, as I mentioned, belief in yourself was very important, because I realized that a lot of people from my batch were not that prepared either. But what you are seeing is the side of them that they bring in the class. So you are seeing them solve the question that we are doing now. So you feel very unconfident, shit, I've not even started, everyone's so ahead of me. But you need to focus on your process. You need to focus on how much you are prepared. So that's why I never liked discussing my mock marks with anyone, even ma'am for that matter, because ma'am is talking to hundreds of students. So what she'll be seeing will be from a very wider lens. But then you ultimately know your journey. You know how you started. You know where you are right now. So you need to have some faith and have belief in yourself that you will be able to do it. Because I know it's a very difficult exam. You're seeing everyone around you. It's very competitive. Ultimately, the people who are ahead of you are your competition in the paper. But if you do not believe in yourself even slightly, then it gets very difficult to even keep pursuing the prep. So
Perfect.
I felt that belief was very important.
Right. And you say that a lot of people, you can't be always having a fixated study plan. Is that what you're saying? You got to be flexible. So what is your take on study plans, etc.?
So I remember, so when I thought that no, I have to be very serious and I have to crack the exam, what we trying to do is, okay, I'll do maths now, I'll do LR now, then I'll do verbal, I'll finish them all, then I'll revise and I'll give the exam. But that never really works, because you can't plan so much. So whenever you think you can, you have the time, do something. ultimately it'll all add up and it'll all be worth it. Don't try to say concrete, no, now I have to do maths. So even like if you sit to do maths and you think you can't really focus, do LR. Do the chapter you enjoy, do blood relations, but do something, it will eventually add up.
Sure. Okay. And about the interviews, you mentioned that. Anything you would like to share? Like, how should people prepare? And should they be very well, aware of their domain of interest? Any tips for interviews? Because those are going to be the final decision makers.
So 100% interviews are very important. But again, from what I spoke to a lot of aspirants who are going to appear this year also. They were very worried about interview, and they were worried about should I do this internship, should I do this certification, which will be which will look good on my CV and show them that I have some experience. You just passed out of 12th, so they are not really looking for you to have any kind of experience or any kind of knowledge, but whatever you came across in your life, whatever you pursued, even if it was just one event that you conducted, what they want to know is your clarity on that. How clear are you on what the event was? What was the importance of that? How you conducted it? So ultimately what they want to see in you is clarity of thought and how well are you able to put yourself and your points.
Oh, so exactly. So they're not expecting you to have mastered concepts in finance or marketing, and likewise. What they want to see is how well you express whatever little you know. Is that what
100%? They not expect you to know everything. You're ultimately going to college to learn. So they want to see in you the hunger to learn and the clarity of thought that you have.
Oh, great. Is there something you feel that people who aspire to go to IIMs in general, right? The things they should not do, especially that will be impediments in them clearing the exam? Are there things like that which are strict don'ts?
From the exam perspective? Or
yes, in general, exam perspective. Yeah.
Again, as I said, you should not compare because that is a very big letdown. Because when I saw, like, I'll tell you my experience. When I joined the program in 2024, I saw that the seniors some of them were very, very good and they did not get in. So this was very disheartening because if they did not get in and they had worked so hard and they were so smart also, I felt like, then how will I get in? So that you should not compare yourself a lot.
Don't get bogged down by the external environment. What others are doing, be very, very intrinsically focused on what you're doing.
What helped me a lot during my prep of those 2 months after both was I was isolated from the world. I used to just attend classes or be at home. And that does not mean that I was not enjoying. Obviously, you are a human, you need breaks. So I was watching web shows and everything. I was taking my breaks. But just talking to people about the exam or seeing how they are doing would have been very overwhelming. And the thing is, if it gets overwhelming, then you're not able to study for another 2 days.
Perfect.
And better than that, even if you do not do much in those 2 days, even if you're just doing it by yourself, and you do very small things, even that will add up and eventually it will help you only. So it's very important to not compare yourself to others in the process.
Great. So what he's saying that for interviews, you don't need to freak out, but whatever you're talking about in your resume, CV, or your interest or events, whatever little you mentioned, express it well, know about that little thing well, right? So that's one takeaway. And secondly, be very, very focused and reflective. Shut yourself from the outside world. Do not get distracted. And then on the D-Day, of course, maintain that calm and focus, right? Is there anything else you want to share with us, Bhavishya? It'll be nice. Anything else as a last word or something before we close?
So yeah, I will just say that do not decide the outcome of the exam before you even appear for the exam. And do not be like, okay, I have to go to this college only. Whichever exam you're giving, try to give your best. Be very confident, be very calm when you're going for the paper. Till the paper is over, till the results are out, I am getting in. That should be the belief. Only then you will be able to make it.
Yes, this is something we've been very fortunate that we were a part of your coaching journey. And I would also like to say that one person whom I can say for sure was very, very self-driven, self-motivated was Bhavishya. Connect with the mentors, using the resources judiciously, even if it is sometimes a last-minute work. You've shown that you can still do it, right? And last but not the least, I think your valuable inputs have been not picked up from some internet website or an AI tool. It's come straight from the heart. And there are a lot of areas which students can ponder about, right? And thank you so much. You have spared your valuable time, come all the way to talk to us. And the Career Launcher family wants to wish you All the best in your future endeavors. We're very, very confident you'll be an astute finance expert soon. Right? God bless you. Thank you so much, Bhavishya, for coming. Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much for having me.